Thank you.
So let me begin with saying this, like I've already said before, and I really like the question that came across even before I began. Oh, we're talking about sex? That means this is not for me. I don't indulge in sex anymore. Well, all of the children from the time that they are born right up till the teen age, most of them do not indulge in sex with their own um, want to. They may be used as sex objects. Yes, Shilpa, I love the eyebrow going up. Similarly, once you're menopausal, your sexual hormones do go down. Most of the people think, oh, I have become menopausal and now I will have no sex drive, which is really not true. All it is that you cannot make a child now. Your body could still be used and could still need intimacy, love, understanding, and softness. At the age of 6, when I was touched by a man who was old enough to be my grandfather, at the age of 6, if someone touches you as a sexual object, are you ready for it? I just want it to be a very interactive session. And I also know what I'm picking up is heavy, but you can make it light. And it is something that's a need of the hour because somebody needs to talk about it in the right way, not in the negative way. Every third child, and I think 3 days back I read in the newspaper, a 3-month-old baby was gang raped. I've also heard a 81-year-old who was touched in the hospital in a sexual manner and she couldn't tell her husband or anyone about it. This is a conflict. A conflict doesn't mean sex. Sexual conflict means when somebody is using your body or is touching your body in a way that's not okay for you. And you haven't learned how to say a no. And all beautiful women here who are grandmothers, if we cannot ourselves understand this, how will we see that it is happening in front of us? How will you stop it? Today's topic is not just about sexual abuse. No, it's not. Because it's not just the sexual abuse that happens within the age groups that are not even looked at as sexual. But I'm looking at the age group also who is extremely sexual, which means from the teenage, which is considered as a normal age, that you will have sexual thoughts, to people in India who think only after marriage you're going to indulge in sex, which is a sad story because your kids have a need, they will just not tell you. There is so much going on, right from child trafficking to inappropriate sites on which children go on, and they're lured by Facebook, by Instagram, by so many other places, and you don't even know that they are sitting across like this. If I can talk to you about this topic, then there is enough happening where children are asked to just take off their clothes and pictures are clicked. And that is then used to blackmail them. They're not touching them sexually. This is also a sexual conflict. Okay. I would want each and every one of you to put down in the chat, and I really acknowledge each one's presence. And first, before anything else we begin, I really acknowledge joining hands for being brave enough to get this topic. Neha, Hitesh, Rosina, fantastic job done.
Thank you. I'll be sure to convey the same.
Thank you. So I want you to put down in the chat, what is your expectation of today's session? I've given you a slide, and what are the kind of questions that, because what I have done, I've created my slides, but that's not to show you. That's just for me to have a skeleton around. And I want you to ask me questions. And what happens from there, when you ask me questions, you get what you want. And I'm ready to talk about and give you knowledge from everywhere. I will just give you a 10-minute briefing, and then we begin with the question answers from you so that I can keep answering them. Is that okay? Neha, I think that would be the best way to go.
Yes.
We'll be very sensitive to people, what they want. I won't cross a line, which is sometimes very difficult to maintain because the topic is extremely bold. Either I can be bold and tell you, or I can hide and sit down behind the camera and say, no, I don't want to talk about it. Oh my God, oh, what will happen? अच्छा, फटाफट जल्दी जल्दी
Yeah.
में लिखिए, नहीं तो हाथ ऊपर करके पूछिए, what is your question? Either you put it down in the chat, or my dear, just put your hands up and ask. Right way to educate people when you say no. What is the right way for you regarding sex education? I'm not talking about sex education today. Sex education, you have to think 2 hours. 2 hours is all the sex education school does. 2 hours. Is that enough? 2 hours of education? Is that enough? In my experience, you've made children, you still don't know. If you don't know how you're going to give knowledge to children, and then it is told very boldly, oh my God, Google is there. No children go on the Google and find out everything. ऐसे करो, पॉर्न पिक्चर्स दे दो उनको, अपने आप पता लग जाएगा उनको क्या क्या करना है. It's not about the technique of sex, and it's not about sex education. Thank you.
We've got a few responses in the chat.
Acquire when we deprive sex. Oh my dear Sudha, there are diseases on diseases and diseases and diseases and diseases and diseases and diseases that I will talk about. If diseases make you happy and not sex and love, I will talk only about diseases.
Diseases decoding. So this I asked the same question.
Think precondition. I'm really loving it. I'm open, not have expectations. Thank you so much, Olga. Right way to educate people is exactly what we are doing right now. And kudos to joining hand for this. I'm sorry, quite nervous. The word sex pops up.
Okay. Conflict, sexual conflict.
Ping on this.
I don't have any. Someone knows she's a thing. Decoding.
Today we are decoding sexual conflicts. Okay, so next is, sorry, I'm quite nervous with the word sex pops up. Okay, how about looking at conflicts and taking off the sex word altogether? And something to really be mindful about. If I'm taking off the word sex altogether out of my dictionary, can I replace it with lovemaking? Would that be more apt for you? Mridula says, please can you tell us how sexual conflicts differ from different age groups? Thank you so much. That's a very brilliant question. Sudha is saying, what are the diseases that we acquire if we deprive sex? It's not just deprivation of sex. It's many other facets of sex that we are going to look at. Rupal says, I'm open to any topic as you seem fit. I seem fit, okay. A long-term effect of sexual abuse, physical and psychological. Yes, we will be touching abuse. Shweta says, yes. Expecting to gain a lot of insights around sexual conflicts. I would love to understand your perspective to help the kids understand how to stay safe and trust their parents, and to their go-to person if someone treats them, threats them. Okay. Most of the times, we think only children need education on this. and we think we are gurus. So let me first put a disclaimer. I'm not a guru at it. I am just more educated than you guys are because my mentors educated me beautifully. Love making sounds much better, and I too have used and hence quite uncomfortable. Okay. Okay, let's all first tap on this word. Even though we're going to talk about sex today, she's actually talking about our bodies. Take a deep breath. Actually talking about our bodies. Top of the head. I have to know about my body someday or the other. Right in the middle of the eyebrows. Take a deep breath. Relax. Why not start today? I've constantly wondered what is right education and wrong education. Why not I begin my education today? It's not a big deal. I may be uncomfortable with the word sex because I'm looking at it in a negative way. Keep tapping, asking yourself, beautiful question, why am I having so many taboos around the word sex? Whatever comes up for you. With that uncomfortable feeling that you have, whatever age you are right now, go back to the first time that you became aware that you're uncomfortable with the word sex. So when I'm tapping on myself, I go back to the time when I started my period. And my mom asked me, how could you have started your period so early? I was barely 8.5, 9 when I began my period. So you go back to wherever you have to understand where did your story come from. Oh, now I notice my mom was uncomfortable. She suddenly told me that, you know what? You're not going to grow taller anymore. That's what she knew. Oh my God, what a musibat. You'll have to wear a pad now. Oh ho. My little girl is now become a big girl and her life is over. So much around me becoming a big girl. She just wanted me to be her little doll. Completely unaware that her little doll was touched by a man old enough to be her grandfather. So go back and see, could it be a time in your life when someone didn't treat you as well as you wanted to be treated? Just make a note of it. I'm going further back, and I'm actually going back while tapping to the time when I was born. People are looking at me and saying, Ladki hui hai. Ladki hui hai. Beti hui hai. It's not a boy, it's a girl. I wondered that small what difference it would have made in their life if I was a boy. Why was so much emphasis given on it? They also commented on my complexion. And they said, Gori chitti hai. चलो शुक्र है काली कलूटी नहीं है, चल जाएगी। मतलब हम फिट कर लेंगे किसी तरीके से। That was all around my sex as a girl. I began understanding that the rejection begins like this. Today I'm 54 years of age and I just started my menopause. Not even clear whether it has begun or not. It's so interesting that at this phase of my life, I probably need more love, more affection, more cuddles, more hugs than ever before. Not because I might be fair in complexion or pale in complexion. Not because I'm just a woman. Not because I've got breasts and vagina. But because I'm going into the next phase of my life where I wish that softness is there. And there is some understanding from my mom-in-law, from my mother, from my husband, from my children regarding my hormonal status. Because I do get mood swings at times. I've never experienced tears, the amount that I have felt in the last few days. And when I don't get treated the way I want to, I still get treated like a strong, hatta-katta woman, Punjabi woman. I feel rejected. And that's because my sex hasn't been understood well. My body hasn't been understood well. Because क्या है ना, वो औरत है, कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा. Even the scientists name our hormones, which is estrogen, as hysterical. Estrogen actually means being hysterical. Your uterus was named because it means being hysterical. Are you okay with women being called hysterical? Take a deep breath. This is you I'm talking about. Every woman here. I hope I covered up your question. Does it hit every age? Yes, it does. It's not about you being a sex object. It is how a woman as a sex is valued and looked at. And if we don't learn to value ourselves, it doesn't matter what age it is, will we ever learn to value our daughters and our granddaughters and know what they really need. So today's attempt is to understand what our needs are. Take a deep breath. I allow myself to understand my needs. I allow myself to have the voice that will help me to understand what I really need. To understand my body, to understand my emotions, to understand me. So that no 65-year-old ever touches your daughter, your granddaughter. And you will know exactly what to say, what to do. And you will know exactly the diseases that it can create. Thank you. Okay, so where are we right now? How is everybody feeling?
A bit light.
I need some input from you guys before I begin. You see how slowly I'm going, peeping into whatever? Because you have an apprehension, you will project that on me. Before names, I want to understand how many of you are ready, and I really request all of you, if you're not ready, you can leave the forum. It's absolutely okay with me. I don't give a damn.
May I say something?
Go ahead.
Actually, it मतलब है ना, पूरा मेरा पास्ट स्टार्टिंग से लेके जैसे आप बोलते जा रहे थे, पूरा मेरा स्टार्टिंग से लेके मेरे को पूरा रिमाइंड हो रहा था.
शाबाश.
Reminded me all the incidences which had been with me.
अगर वो सारे इंस्टेंसेस आपको याद आ गए हैं तो उन्हें किताब में लिखिए, क्योंकि हर इंस्टेंस ने आपकी जिंदगी में कुछ ऐसा छोड़ गया है which you have not even realized. If you remembered your past and when I was taking you through mine, I'm sure you would have come through some understandings which you can put down on a piece of paper, and most of you would be reluctant to put it on the piece of paper because कोई देख ना ले. तो कोई बात नहीं, अगर piece of paper पे नहीं लिखना है तो दिमाग में लिख लें कि ये मेरे साथ हुआ था. This all happened with me, and today I am ready to understand and accept my body and move ahead.
Yeah, I would also like to share my sexual abuse I have been.
Please go ahead.
When I was
Please go ahead.
I was a girl, little girl.
Under the spotlight. Thank you.
Nikita, please turn your video on.
Thank you.
1 minute.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Actually, मैं हिंदी में कंफर्टेबली बता सकूंगी. मैं जब भी छोटी थी, मेरा कजिन मतलब है ना, मेरे बुआ का लड़का हमारे घर पे आया हुआ था. बुआ का लड़का, मेरा कजिन, हमारे घर पे आया हुआ था. और है ना, मेरे मम्मी पापा बाहर गए हुए थे, और एक मेरी दूसरी कजिन को हम छोटे थे इसके लिए हमारे साथ छोड़ के गए थे. तो he was sleeping, मतलब अलग से रूम में वो सो रहा था. इसके लिए हम छोटे थे तो बोला गया, भाई है ना वो अकेला सो रहा है, इससे अच्छा कोई उसके साथ सोए. तो मैं छोटी थी, मैं उसके साथ जाके सोई. तो उसने मेरे को अपने ऊपर लेके ही किस दी, which is to be said to be French kiss.
Thank you.
I was unaware about that thing. That was my first time, and I didn't like it. And then the next day, I didn't went to sleep in that room. And at the next day, my sister went to sleep in that room. And I think that thing same happened to her too, because she didn't told to me, neither I told to her. And so she also said that I will not go there to sleep.
Thank you. Thank you.
And the other incidents I would also like to say.
Please go.
That हम जब छोटे थे, अपनी नानी घर पे जाके भाई बहन सब खेलते थे उनके फ्रेंड्स के साथ. एक मेरे भाई का फ्रेंड था, he touched my inner parts. हम लुक्का छुपी खेल रहे थे, तो वो, मैं छोटी थी, वो मेरे को पुल करके अपने साथ लेके जा, भाई हम इधर छुप रहे हैं. We were sitting on the stairs, and he pulled me and was touching my private parts. So from the that day, I didn't went to play there.
Thank you. I want you to notice, is this a disease or not, that she couldn't go after that to play properly. She couldn't do her activities normally. She forgot to trust the man, the little boy who was lying down in the other room. And she did not talk to anyone. You know why? Because she knew कि घर में कोई एक्सेप्ट नहीं करेगा जैसे आप एक्सेप्ट करने को तैयार नहीं है. जैसे हम बोलते हैं सेक्सुअल कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स. This is not for me.
Actually, we are not taught from the beginning that what is that, and we are not able to speak about that to our parents too.
Yes. Can you hear the emotion in her voice? Nikita is a grandmother now. And now she dares to open her mouth. Can we all give her a round of applause for opening her mouth? Anybody else wants to share? Before I go.
So I would like to say, भाई हम उसको अभी कैसे रिलीज करें. जैसे अभी बात निकली, तो हमारे मतलब इनर पार्ट में वो बात है, इसके लिए हमको वो रिलीज करने का है हमारे अंदर से. So how can we release that from ourselves?
बेटे जी, मुझे 20 साल हो गए इसके ऊपर काम करते हुए. मेरी अवेयरनेस जब आई थी वो 208 था, 209 नहीं. 2008 is when I got awareness, yes, that I was touched. Memories came flooding by. 2009, आज 2021 है, 13 साल के बाद आज भी, and the impact of it is there. And yes, we will do the process. That's why I wanted to do at the end of the program today. Thank you so much. I am in deep, deep, deep gratitude. Anybody else wants to share before I go further? How does this affect us? It can change the time of your period. It can create PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome. It can create bipolarity. It can create skin issues. It can create aversions to sex and sexual acts. It took her away straight away from the behavior of trusting people to reaching a place of no trust. It always has an impact. It doesn't have to be called a disease which you go to the doctor, but it is very much chronic because you carry it as a yad, as a secret for 40 years of your life. तुमको खुद नहीं खबर कि कहाँ कहाँ इम्पैक्ट किया, क्योंकि तुमने वो वर्ड को ही नहीं देखने की कोशिश करी. Word, then the whole world will open up for you. How many of you are still uncomfortable? Please put down in the chat how many of you are still uncomfortable. Okay, let's go further. I'm presuming I have the permission of everyone and I can go ahead. So Neha, I'm going to begin with the sexual conflict straight away, and we will come back to what is the need of the woman or a man.
Yes, ma'am.
We will start with a little aggressive part and then we'll come back to the lighter part. This is extremely important when the person was touched for the first time, whether it was out of lovemaking, sex, or experimentation. Whether it was penile penetration, whether there was no penetration, it was just the first kiss. But the first time that you become aware of the sexual touch is the first time you become aware of who you are as a sexual being. And that can happen for some people very, 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 very early in life. Like I said, 3-month-old baby is unaware of her sexuality. I at 6 was extremely unaware of my sexuality. I was a very happy-go-lucky child. My mom would put her hand underneath to see कि मैं ठीक हूँ कि नहीं हूँ. She was extra protective, absolutely loving, and she's never stopped me from anything. In fact, if I'm talking today, I'm talking because I have her blessings. She throughout her pregnancy said, बच्चा मेरा ऐसा हो कि प्राइम मिनिस्टर के सामने भी बात करते हुए डरे नहीं. My child should never get scared of expressing herself. And I'm proud to be my mother's daughter and my father's daughter. When you are touched for the first time, that means it could be an uncle touching you, it could be a cousin brother touching you, it could be just a plain kiss. That little boy was not sexually abusing her. There is a difference. He was experimenting with her. We have not even created distinctions between because his hormones are kicking inside. It is we as grandparents and parents who are not aware of it, and we think we are still children. ये बच्चों को अगर गूगल से इंफॉर्मेशन मिल सकती है तो उनको ये भी समझ में आ सकता है कि सामने अगर शाहरुख खान बोल रहा है मैं हूं ना and he's giving a kiss, और इंग्लिश मूवी में किस चल रही है, the child is plain experimenting. But who is he experimenting on? On someone who has no idea that she is a sexual being. She's a chota baby. That first touch matures you, changes you from a chota baby to a sexual being, and now you're a woman. And according to family constellation, he is your first partner. Yes, I thought you all knew this. Thank you. Can you imagine that our first partners were not the ones that we chose from any corner? They were not appropriate. They were not correct. They were not right. And this leaves a mark not just on you, but on your generation. Because when I asked my mother, why didn't you open your mouth? She went into her story and told me that she was sexually touched. When I asked her why couldn't she see this man touching me, she said to me, "Beta, ये आदमी मेरे पास भी आया था." So you were not the special one. You were the one available. Will this have impact on a person's mindset? How many more girls have to be sacrificed before we look at it and deal with it as a problem, as a disease in the society? So that's the first thing. Secondly, if the child during experimentation or actual sexual, whatever you can call it, different shades of, how come you forgot everything else but never forgot this one thing that you hid from everyone else? How come you forgot everything else but you never forgot what you didn't tell anyone else? How come? That's your biggest secret.
It puts impact on our mind.
Yes, your mind, your body, your spirituality, your psyche, the way you will connect to everyone and everything from there on, and even the way you'll connect to you. Because when you hear women talking in the living room, and when if your grandchild was here today and they would see that I had to struggle so much before beginning the program, they would make a mental calculation and say, इन लोगों के पास जाके सेक्स के बारे में बिल्कुल कुछ बात नहीं करनी है, क्योंकि all these people will think I am a slut. शरीफ चेहरा दिखाने के लिए मुझे शराफत से ही बात करनी पड़ेगी, और इसीलिए it's not because you were not the best friend of your child. It is because your child knows that this is considered wrong. और वो आपको आके ये नहीं बता सकता है कि it is wrong. And invariably, it is the person who you trusted the most. Now let's move from sexual abuse, which I think all of you have got, and I'll give you a few case studies for you to understand what I'm talking about. Case study number 1. I'm talking about a man for a change rather than a woman for a change, because you always think it's only the woman, the abla nari, who gets sexually touched. These are all real case studies and how they impacted life for people. So the first case that is a case of a man who is a doctor today. He's an eye surgeon. And at one time, he suffered from severe mood swings. In medical terms and psychological terms, it is called bipolarity, which means kabhi khushi, kabhi gum, in very simple language. So we explored, and he came to me. He had just moved from Riyadh to India, and most of my work with him was done over the camera like this and not in person. I have actually met him twice in last 10 years. At that point, he had just come back from Riyadh, as I said, where he was working as a doctor. He was married, he already had 2 children, and his wife, he was staying with his wife in her house with her parents right now because he had come back to India and he wasn't normal. डॉक्टर्स ने उसको पागल करार दे दिया था. He is mad. He was locked up, and the first time I spoke to him, he was crying. And he said, मेरी जिंदगी खत्म हो गई है, कुछ नहीं हो सकता. We started from there. Today, he is he has saved more than 5,000 eyes because he gone back to being eye surgeon. He's gone back to writing papers. He's gone back to doing whatever he used to. He still needs counseling at times. And whenever he feels slightly slowed down, he calls me up. When we started investigating, we realized that he had gone through sexual abuse. His father was an ambassador, and as he was working for Indian government, he was sent from various places to various places, and he and his elder brother, who's now in the army, were also going along with them. हम अक्सर सोच लेते हैं कि लड़कों को कुछ नहीं होगा. माँ बाप ने भी यही सोचा, बेटा है ये तो प्रेग्नेंट नहीं हो सकता. बस हम इतना ही सोचते हैं कि लड़की should not get pregnant, boys are not going to get pregnant, and that's enough. This is our सोच, very limited. So they would go to the club, and children can be a complete nuisance when parents are going to the club, and especially when they are going as officials for Indian government. Big posts, big place, formalities, right dress, right code. And in that, the child is sitting inside the car, in the same club, in the darkness, with the driver who's taking care of the kid. The question is he really taking care of the kid? He says to me, and when we came to know, it wasn't one man. And there was a news that spread around that this boy is available. He was all of 8 or 10. And once they had done what they needed to do, they would just say to him, साला जाके wash करके आ अपने आप को. He couldn't say this to anyone. He couldn't open his mouth despite being a doctor and tell anyone that this had happened to him. But the cure was to open your mouth and speak. Because बहता पानी ही साफ कहलाए, थम गया पानी जम गई काई. If you don't open your mouth and don't represent yourself, कोई और मसीहा आने वाला नहीं है. My God, the minute he spoke, we realized why he was pulling all kinds of rubbish in his life. He felt emotionally scarred, and for boys, it's even more difficult because boys, according to our society, don't get abused. Normally, in my understanding, every abused child will go out and abuse another child. Was the sex for him painful? Yes, it was. He couldn't walk straight, and parents never asked him, why are you not walking straight? Bipolarity, skin issues, and unstable behavior throughout his life. Case number 2. The girl was very little. She was left at home with her father. These are all real stories, huh? Left at home with the father. She was all of 6, 7, 8. Younger brother also there. And mother has gone out to work because father was never working. So the mother said, take care of the child. He would be showing her porn movies. She complained to her mom. What do you think would have happened to the mom after she complained to mom? What do you think would have happened? Would her mom have understood? Would she have thrown out her husband? What do you think would have happened? Come on, put it down in the chat. What do you think would have happened?
He may have done same with her too.
Say that again.
I am saying he may have done same with her too. Maybe showing same movies to her.
But he did not really get into penetrative sex. But what the question was not what he did to her. I'm telling you what he did to her. The question is, when she did complain to her mom, what do you think happened? Absolutely right, Rupal. Mom did not believe her. Mom told her to keep quiet. No, she was sent to the hostel. The abuser was not thrown out. She was sent to the hostel. She developed skin which is got a lot of marks. In fact, later she went to become a beautician and got out of the house. We empowered her enough. She got out of the house, and today their father does not live with them. He's in the rehab. These children have moved on. We didn't leave them in that place. Bipolarity, top of the list. Mood swings, kabhi khushi, kabhi gum. Skin, patchy, very dark. Either the child becomes very, very obsessed with sex, or the child doesn't want to do anything with sex. Moods. She went, her mother barely used to earn 16, 17,000 bucks. She was the one who would do eyebrows and facial in the parlor, maybe 25, 30. This girl had a desire to go out. She has today traveled across the world. She has gone as a beautician. She trained herself. She trained herself in everything that the Meta Health had to give her. And she is Azad. Okay, let's go to the case number 3. Another man, another boy who was with his father, left home from the village so that he could be with his father. And his father was living, they both did not earn too much. They were in a small area which was shared by a flat which was shared by 6 men. And who would think that men are not going to be safe for that kid? When the father would be away to work and he would come back from school, because the father had got him to the shahar so that wo kaam karega, padhai karega. Well, the man who was very good friend of his father would touch him repeatedly and made him aware that there is sexual energies around him, and he went to the village and he would go and touch his sisters. A sexual abuse rolled down which happened. This boy cleaned his space up after many, many years. He's a writer. He went and told his sisters sorry, and he took the responsibility for what he did and said, I did not realize. He suffers from bipolarity, obesity, and he cannot stick to one job for too long. I think enough cases that I've given you and enough rehab. Anybody wants to share from here anything before I go further? Pin drop silence. Yes, Meena. Yes, Meena.
Uh, Hello. So, as a say, maybe 5-year-old kid, I was also sexually abused by a neighbor, a very close neighbor whom my mom trusted. My mom was actually very overprotective about me, and she wouldn't let me go and mix with anybody. So, there were two families that she trusted, and there was a young girl, maybe a teen, and she used to call me to her house when there was nobody else, and conversation. So I remember when I used to go up the stairs, I used to be so hesitant to go when I knew that she was alone. That was one incident. And then there was one when I was, I think, 10, 11, when, I was just around puberty time. And a close friend of my dad, he used to come and, kind of touch my breast, just budding breast then. And I never could tell all this to my parents,
I
somehow.
I really acknowledge you. Thank you for sharing. Any health issues that you've had? I can't hear you. You're muted, sweetheart.
I've had blood pressure,
Okay.
skin issues I've had. And as a kid, I had seizures. Mhm.
Wow.
So that was fixed with neuromedicines for 3 years, and that was fixed, and it is in the history, family history too. A few of my cousins have it, but it was like I had it. I think I had the first seizure when I was in the 8th standard, and I was put on medication, and 3 or 5 years of medication, and it went, but that was there.
So much. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. I really, really thank you for sharing. So, skin issues are very, very common with sexual touch. Skin issues are very, very common with sexual touch, and a huge behavioral disturbance is very much there. Yes, Nikita?
I would like to tell one more instance.
Yes, please go ahead.
After my accident, one old man was coming at our home.
Yes.
वो मतलब एक्यूप्रेशर ट्रीटमेंट देता था.
Yes.
Actually, when I used to tell him my problems, that I had catheter and I have burning sensation, and I was saying I have got acidity and I have got chest pain. He used to touch my breast and inner parts, which I didn't like. And वो ऐसे बोलता था, भाई मैं खाली आपका वो ट्रीटमेंट कर रहा हूँ, आपको मसाज कर रहा हूँ, तो उससे आपका पेन रिलीव हो जाएगा. But I didn't like it, and at that time I was not able to tell to my husband also.
Thank you so much, Nikita. Thank you so much. Any other health diseases, anything to do with skin?
No, I have not got health diseases. जब मैं छोटी थी मतलब तभी मतलब मेरे को तभी है ना बर्निंग होता था.
Nikita,
So I think
Nikita, just 1 minute. I want everybody to observe her face carefully. How old are you, Nikita?
I'm now 45.
Pardon?
45.
45. How old does she look, guys? Does she look like 45?
No, she looks older.
Pardon?
She looks older.
She looks older. Does she look like 45, younger or older? And Nikita, can you say something? I want you to hear her voice and tell me, does her voice sound like a younger person, older person? Nikita, just talk.
Younger person.
Just talk, sweetheart.
Younger.
Yeah.
एक्चुअली अभी मैं मतलब बहुत सेंसिटिव हो गई हूँ, तो मेरे को मतलब रोना ही रोना आ रहा है.
I can understand. आपकी हेल्प करने की कोशिश कर रही हूँ निकिता, क्योंकि आपको अवेयरनेस में ला रही हूँ. और अवेयरनेस में ये है कि what is interesting over here is that her voice ever since, and I can distinctly remember her voice anyway because she's got a very distinct voice. This is what we call a mature stop, where the person looks younger than and their voice stays younger than and goes back probably to the age that they were touched negatively. One of the things that can happen is when people voices can get repressed and stay in that place itself, or their faces can get stay in that space itself. What is the message body is giving? The body is saying, I don't want to grow up, because growing up means all this tamasha. Growing up means sex and sexual conflicts. So you,
इवन मेरे को मतलब अंदर से भी फीलिंग हमेशा ऐसे ही रहती है, भाई आई एम नॉट एल्डर.
thank you. I am not elder. Thank you so much, Nikita. What a wonderful way to kind of hold it together. And this is because of the conflict that has happened in childhood. If I become older, then I will have to take responsibility beyond what I have to take. And people, you know, when I'm chota, people underestimate me and they say things and they do things which I don't have to worry about. I can be the chota bacha. Yes, Olga, go ahead, unmute yourself and please speak. Thank you. Olga, unmute yourself.
Yes, I'm here. I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud.
Okay. I have a memory around maybe 5, 6, 7, something like that, where I think I was raped by another boy a little bit older than me, but I'm not sure. It's like the memory stops right before it happens. I just remember him unzipping his pants, and that's it. So how can I know if I was raped? Because at that age, I was very aggressive, so I probably fought. So I don't know if I was raped or I wasn't. Is there a way to know if I was? I don't remember.
More than finding out the way whether, and I repressed my memory for almost 30 years. So I can completely tell you what happens is that is part of the process where you repress your energy and repress your memory so that if you don't remember it, you don't have to deal with it. There is a reason that that memory does not come back, because if you come back with the memory, then you have to do something about it. When the world is not ready to do something about it, you are also not ready to do something about it. And the second thing, Olga, did you have any behavioral change after that? Have you been aggressive all your life?
Yes.
Thank you.
But I also lost my mom when I was 7 and my father when I was 10. So being aggressive was the only way to protect myself because there was nobody for me. But then I did a lot of personal work starting 4 years ago, and now I'm not aggressive anymore.
Thank you so much. So aggressive if you were, then did you have acidity, a lot of acidity during your growing up years?
No.
Okay,
no.
I'll keep telling you the symptoms. Tell me if you had any of this.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you have eating disabilities where you either ate too much or ate very little? Starved yourself? Very good. So that's one of the things that happens when someone touches you. Very good. Second, did you ever feel like really, you know, even now sometimes you might feel, oh my God, I really, if there is some stressful situation, I need to eat. I need to have my glucose. Thank you. That's part of the abuse. And do you ever get Do you ever get into a space where you wonder who you are? I don't know who I am. I don't know what's my identity. Someone tell me what.
Yes, yes.
Thank you. That's all part and parcel of going through 3 conflicts back to back. Next two is losing partners, losing mom and dad. Wow. Thank you so much all that. I really, really appreciate.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lekha, could you please unmute yourself, darling?
Yes, Anu. Mm.
Lekha.
I was just resonating with what Nikita was saying that I do not want to grow up because when I was little I went through abuse. So I do not like that world of grown-ups, and I just want to be a child. And I have this deep hatred for men, and I do not have any skin issues or anything, but I developed varicose veins much later when I was pregnant with my first child. And yeah, that's it. And mainly it was all relatives, only men who my parents trusted and who used to come home and stay with us, our uncles and all. So we were made to sleep with them because it was a small house. But I could never come out in the open to my parents till I'm not able to.
I really, really, really acknowledge you joining hands, Hitesh and Rosina and Neha, for even bringing this topic up. Do you know I've just got stuck on the first conflict and I'm not stuck because we are taking people out of it. By you talking today, there is a lot of data that I can retrieve from you. Now, could you help me, Lekha? No skin issues, but aversion for men. Okay. How does this translate in your life?
I don't know. I don't trust men, and my marriage has also been not a good one. So, and and the abuse was not always at home. It was on these locals also, on trains and everywhere, on the roads also.
So no,
Continuous.
the world is not a safe place. Thank you. Do you work with children?
With my child, yes.
Yeah. As long as children are children, you will be fine. If the children grow up, you feel they'll bully.
No, I don't feel that way, but I just enjoy the company of children. I'm like a child with them, and I gel more with children.
Thank you. Do you, lot of people start, thank you so much, Lekha. Did you get your chashma when you were very little, around the same time?
No, I got it much later, after 40.
Much later. Any behavioral changes?
I have always been a quiet child and always asked. I've been brought up like chup raho, as a not encouraged to express or open your mouth. So always suppressed and
Expressing in front of everyone. Kudos to you today. Kudos to you. Really. Okay. I want you to now tell me, do you have 2 conflicts going on? One is it could be acidity, eating disorder, hypoglycemia, which means I suddenly feel sugar rush. I need sugar.
I don't have.
Okay. Do you feel that, which was the first one? Acidity.
I got it much later now.
Yeah. But do you suffer from acidity? Yes. And second one, I get speechless very easily.
No, I don't open up very easily. I take my time to open
Wow.
up.
Wow. Thank you so much. And this is what we call getting into your own shell, into your own den, because you are safe, because the world is not a safe place. So I will get into my own den, into my own cocoon, which is a safe place. But if someone encourages you enough, you will then open up and even speak on a forum like this. I am in deep gratitude to you. Lovely. Thank you. We all give her a round of applause, please, guys. Himmat kari hai to please. Thank you. Sonal, please go ahead. Unmute yourself. Nikita.
I'm already feeling too heavy in my body, and it's like it's totally building up.
What is it? What is it? What is the memory that's coming up because of this?
Okay, actually, I had healed that memory back, but there's so many things. I was touched inappropriately by cousin's father. I just ran from that scene when I realized that something is not fine. Then the market, I was groped. Then the market is the very favorite place of these men who are sick by their head. They're like, so just touching by we are going, and thereafter I've been very protective. It's like m- my hands were like this, like this कि कुछ भी होगा तो वैसे. Then I was menstruating. Actually, when my menses came, I was living at another place. I didn't realize, but while going home, it started. And when I was climbing the stairs, I was touched. The man just ran away. I don't know who was that. And
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Sonu. Tap, tap, please tap, please tap, please tap. Okay, take a deep breath. How has this impacted your today's life?
I've been on the guard. Like, whenever I used to come from the college or anywhere, I used to keep something with me. Okay, kuch bhi hoga, it's like total.
Thank you so much, guys. Do you get that these things cause diseases? Lifelong. Lifelong. Which people have never dealt with. Yes, Shushma Sharma, please go ahead. Really, really deep gratitude to each and every one of you. Yes.
Yeah, Anu, it was a close person like of family whom my parents trusted very much, and my parents were very simple and loving. So they never thought कि भाई किसी को घर में छोड़ेंगे तो कुछ होगा. But luckily for me, that person did not touch me without my permission. I was like, I think so in seventh, and for 2 3 years he did try to yani cajole me by giving me gifts, by trying to make me say yes. He would leave books around which were not good enough, porn movies and DVDs and all, but I never paid attention to it because I was in my own cocoon of friends and like I which mujhe pata nahi, it was something like there was some protection over me which protected me from him for 3 years. But I used to hide when my parents used to go out. I used to lock the doors from everywhere. We had two doors. I would lock one door from outside, and then I would sit in the kitchen because he would go on ringing the bell, and I would close my ears and I would sit under the dining table. But yeah, now I'm always hiding.
Thank you so much, Shushma.
Mhm.
He created fear in you, sweetheart. I'm so proud of you, Shushma. So, how many years have you taken to break your silence?
I have told my mother like 7 to 8 years ago, and I've spoken about it to my daughter too, and my mentor also about it.
Thank you.
But now I'm 56, so it's been a long journey. Though I've healed it, and I don't feel, but today since I've been hearing everybody's, I have felt it like I am feeling for them also, and then for me too.
Absolutely. I really acknowledge any diseases that happened after that. Any See, the main behavioral change when her parents went out, she was alert. That means she knew something was not right. Even though she did not, she pretended that she did not really look. She really did look because if she hadn't looked, she wouldn't have tried to protect herself. Did you start putting on weight after that?
No, my weight I started putting after I was 48,
Okay.
and that too when I let go of myself. Like,
Okay. So
uh,
very, very
yeah,
thin.
yeah, I was thin.
Thank you. So the weight alteration is always there.
Mm.
Either you're very, very thin if till 48.
Sweet carvings.
Yes. What changed at 48 years of age for you where you felt safe?
Not safe actually. After my marriage, my father-in-law had cancer, so 6 months I was taking care of him. I was pregnant the first time, And then when I was pregnant the second time, my grandmother-in-law was not well. She was bedridden. Then my mother-in-law for 10 years, like that only bedridden. So like I was physically tired and I said, सब छोड़ो ना अपनी चिंता ना किसी और की अब सब बड़े हो गए हैं they will take care and I don't need to think about even taking care of my body now or doing anything for myself.
Can I say something, Shushma?
It's been an underhill, yeah, yes, sure.
It's very, very interesting. I'm just going to say this the way it's coming. The only way she didn't have to hide from anyone at home is if they were not well. They were not well. They couldn't get up from the bed and touch her in an appropriate manner. She was okay to take care of them, but not okay with them walking around older and as an authority and doing anything. Look at the universe, how it plays out. You had everyone in your life who was not well, so you could touch them and make sure that your touch was humble, but you didn't trust anyone. And it's classic. And the day you said, I don't need to give myself attention or take care of anyone, everything was okay. It comes from a deep seated the child saying, I'm tired of taking care of me all the time. I'm tired of taking care of me all the time, and I have to be careful now. I don't need to lock anything. Thank you so much, Shushma. Anybody else who would like to? Pratima Singh, Nikita, I'm coming to you. I'm just picking up everyone who hasn't spoken before. Pratima Singh, please go ahead. I will be doing a process, so don't worry.
Yes, I was about to say that we are at 5:20, so
Yeah,
reminder of 5:15. Thank you.
we'll go in for another two sharings. You know what? It's one slide that I showed. There were at least doesn't matter. What matters is that you understood from the space that I'm coming right now. Each one has so much of gradation. There are at least 15 sexual conflicts. I picked up only one right now. Yes, Pratima, please go ahead, unmute yourself and speak. Sonal, very fact you're yawning, you've gone into parasympathetic. The healing has begun. Yes, Pratima.
Yeah, I remember from being a very small child, being abused, being touched inappropriately, not having anyone to talk to. If I would go for my dance class, the dance teacher would try and touch. Would go to the dentist would try and touch. If you're walking around, you wouldn't know from where someone would touch you. So I don't like men. I mean, I keep to myself. I'm very happy on my own. I look after my daughter. I was overprotective where they are concerned, not letting anyone have anything, doing everything myself.
Thank you, Pratima Singh. I am so much in gratitude. Any problems around skin issues, anything that happened which you can term as or behavioral change that happened because of these instances?
Well, skin issue, as far as I remember from early childhood, I've had very dry skin.
Thank you so much.
And diabetes.
Thank you. And diabetes.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is the state of the marriage? Was it good, bad, ugly?
No, I lost my husband. I was married for 13 years and he died in an accident. I had a very good marriage.
Thank you so much. I feel your loss. Thank you. She said she is an overprotective mom. When your mother is protective, understand that they are not saying something to you. आपकी साइलेंस में इतनी आवाज है कि जो आपकी आवाज में आवाज नहीं. आपकी साइलेंस में इतनी गुस्सा भरा पड़ा है जिसको आपने कभी क्लीन किया ही नहीं. और स्किन इश्यूज तो बहुत उठ के आते हैं. एंड मूड इश्यूज, पीपल गेट इनटू स्विंगिंग मूड्स. कभी खुशी कभी गम. They don't trust people. They get into their own cocoon. It impacts their periods, it impacts fertility, it impacts their ovaries, it impacts their overall outlook to life. Yes, Nikita, your hand is still up. Would you want to unmute and say?
Yeah,
Yes.
आई वुड लाइक टू से भाई जैसे लेखा ने बताया भाई वो बात कम करती थी, मेरा भी चाइल्डहुड से वैसे ही था। मैं बहुत मतलब बात नहीं करती थी, किसी को भी एक्सप्रेस नहीं कर सकती थी। 10th के बाद मतलब मेरे को टाइफाइड हुआ, उसके बाद में उल्टा मैं मतलब टाइफाइड से ऊपर उठी। उसके बाद में मैं बहुत अच्छी तरह से सबसे बातें करती थी, फ्रेंड्स वगैरह से। स्कूलिंग में भी मैंने टिल 10th मतलब बचपन में मैं बहुत होशियार थी और तभी करती थी, उसके बाद में मैंने मतलब बंद कर दिया था बिल्कुल। फिर आफ्टर 10th में बात करने लगी, लेकिन है ना आफ्टर मैरिज में मतलब है ना किसी को भी खुल के कुछ बोल नहीं सकती हूँ। अभी अभी मेरे को मेरा गुस्सा निकलता है। और दूसरा, आई वुड ऑल्सो लाइक टू शेयर माई सेक्शुअल लाइफ विथ माई हस्बैंड इन द स्टार्टिंग। मतलब है ना जैसे हमको सेक्स एजुकेशन नहीं दी जाती है, तो एक्चुअली मेरे को खाली क्या बोला गया था, भाई अगर जो भी आपका हस्बैंड करता है उनको करने देना, नहीं तो वो गुस्से हो जाते हैं। भाई ये इंसिडेंट हो चुका है, मेरी मासी ने बताया दूसरी मासी के लिए, बस इतना बताया गया था। एंड शी यूज्ड टू शेव माय इनर पार्ट, एंड दैट वाज माय फर्स्ट टाइम शी यूज्ड टू शेव माय इनर पार्ट। आई डिडंट शेव इट बिफोर, आई वाज नॉट अवेयर अबाउट इट एनी। तो उसके बारे में भी उन्होंने बोला मेरे को that your inner part is so black, and so I was so much tense at that time that what is going on. And
Thank you, thank you, thank
she
you.
did actually ऐसे जैसे हमको sex education नहीं थी, when I was got first kiss I understood that I would get pregnant. It was my mentality at that time. And then thereafter my husband explained me everything properly, and that thing I explained to my daughter and my sister when they got married to get them sex education.
वेरी गुड। इसीलिए कहती हूँ सेक्स एजुकेशन इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, और एडल्ट्स को तो बहुत ज़रूरत है इसकी, बहुत
And
ज़रूरत।
I would also like to say something more.
यस, गो अहेड।
जैसे मतलब मेरे साथ इंसिडेंट हो चुका था जैसे बचपन में, सो आई थिंक उसकी वजह से ही होगा, मेरे को मतलब है ना इनर पार्ट्स को टच करना पसंद नहीं था when my husband was touching me. So मतलब वो टाइम पे अगर मैं उनको कुछ बोल भी नहीं सकती थी, भाई डोंट टच मी, एंड आई वाज नॉट एबल टू एक्सप्रेस हिम। एंड मतलब उनको फिर अगर कुछ उनको फिर गुस्सा आ जाता था। And now he is understanding everything. If I am saying anything that I don't like to touch or I get something, means अगर जलन हो रही है या कुछ प्रॉब्लम हो रही है, now he is understanding. And at that time in the beginning time, if I was not able to say anything, and मतलब उनको दूर कर लूं तो उनको मतलब गुस्सा लग जाता था। मतलब we had some issues regarding that, and during that time
थैंक यू निकिता, बहुत ब्रेव हैं आप, बहुत ब्रेव हैं आप। थैंक यू सो मच।
I also tried to commit suicide at that time.
बहुत शुक्रिया बताने के लिए। एंड नेक्स्ट टाइम वी विल बी टचिंग हाउ द लव फर्स्ट टाइम व्हेन यू मेक कैन बी अ शॉक फॉर मेनी मेनी गर्ल्स। सो वो क्यों उसे लव मेकिंग कहेंगी? And becoming a mother can be a bigger shock. And then taking care of your child along with everything can be only a shock and a shock and a shock and a shock. क्योंकि आपके माँ बाप ने आपको पढ़ाई करने के लिए तैयार किया, आपको बोला ये अच्छे से पढ़ लोगे ना तो आपकी जिंदगी बन जाएगी। सेक्सुअल स्टोरीज पे तो हमने बोला गूगल करेगा। We didn't educate our girls on what is the real sexual manners. सेक्सुअल बिहेवियर की तो बाद में बात कर रही हूँ, सेक्सुअल एक्ट की नहीं बात कर रही हूँ मैं, सेक्सुअल मैनर्स, व्हाट इज हाइजीन, व्हाट इज नॉट, कुछ नहीं. उसको लपेट के कांजीवरम की साड़ी में वी सेंड हर ऑफ. I have had instances where the girl was 16 years of age. She was married, and the mother was standing outside the room, and she's screaming inside and saying, "Bas karo." And the mother is saying, "Beta, ye to hota hi hai. Koi baat nahi, kar lene de usko." This is tradition. Is this culture? You don't send a child to a nursery school. You wait there also outside कि आपके बच्चे को चोट ना लग जाए, आपके बच्चे को कुछ ना हो जाए. And then you lapeto your daughters in Kanjivaram and in lovely beautiful clothes where you've taken 6 hours to dress her up and 2 minutes to undress her and feel naked for the rest of her life. We really need to think. Thank you. Last person's sharing, and then I'm going to take 2-second break because I just need to use nature's call, and then I come back to you. So we'll all go for a 2 minutes break so that I will also after that put my bowls here and we clean this up today as much as we can. We put an intention out there that everybody is in a safe place. Yes, we have Viraja Shankar. Please go ahead.
Ma'am, what I've noticed is like people who have been sexually abused as children, invariably we see that there is a connection between that and extramarital affairs. So do you see a connection between the two, ma'am?
Always. No. What I see that a lot of, and I will give you an incident over here which is going to throw people off a little bit. Thank you for asking me that question. No, there is no connection in the two. What I really find is it's not just that the fathers or the boys have sexually abused people. It's also women who have touched men when they were very young boys. They have either dressed in such a way that they have let their blouses loose or made the boys touch them. And I have a case where the child was mentally not okay, and the mother lent her body to be his partner.
Okay.
There is a lot going on. I always say this: if you can solve sexual stress, you can solve any disease on this planet Earth, because these are the places which is complete silence, sannata. Baat kari to you're a slut, nahi kari to you can sit in that, in the place of ignorance all your life, all your life, all your life. Okay, I want anybody wants to share over here anything? No. Okay, I'm going to take 2 minutes break, come back. So I'm going to take off the screen. Neha, over to you.
Yes, ma'am.
And I will come back and we do a 15-minute process where we get into meditation and clean this up. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. Everyone, if you would like to take a break and go to the restroom or drink some water, that would help. I'm just going to mute everyone. You'll just have to unmute once more, Anu. One moment. Anu, please unmute. Thank you.
Let go, all of you. Pratima, you can't hear? Playing for the last 1 minute. Allow the healing to both happen and allow yourself to let go. Give yourself permission. Let go. Let go. Allow yourself to let go.
Thank you in gratitude to each and every one of you here. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you very much. Thank you so much. Nikita, I think the time is up. You can write down the message because I think Neha has to go for another session. And deep gratitude again to Neha, joining hands, Hitesh and Rosina for bringing up a pretty difficult topic on this platform. And deep gratitude to each and every one of you to stay till the end and to listen and to be able to allow yourself to share and give yourself permission to let things go.
On that note, I think we should leave with the silence and the feeling that you have blessed us with. Thank you, Anu ma'am, for taking us through this journey today. And thank you everyone for participating. I won't say much because I hope the feeling that has come stays with all of you. We will see you all next Saturday at 4 p.m. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Anu ma'am.
I will stay till